Welcome to Games and Names. Tonight, we explore the world of sport climbing, a thrilling sport that combines strength, agility, and mental acuity. Climbers ascend rock walls using pre-placed anchors, aiming to reach the top with speed and precision. Sport climbing made its Olympic debut at the Tokyo 2020 Games, showcasing speed climbing, bouldering, and lead climbing. Join us as we delve into the history, rules, and top athletes of sport climbing. Experience the excitement and skill that define this captivating sport. Stay tuned for an engaging journey into the world of sport climbing. Sport climbing is a challenging discipline that combines physical strength, mental agility, and strategic planning. Beginning as mountaineering training, it has evolved into a popular competitive sport with the International Federation of Sport Climbing, IFSC, established in 2007. Competitions involve athletes ascending artificial rock walls with holds and routes of varying difficulty. The main disciplines in sport climbing competitions are lead climbing, speed climbing, and bouldering. Lead climbing requires athletes to ascend a route within a time limit. Speed climbing is a race to the top of a standardized route, and bouldering focuses on powerful climbs without the use of ropes. Athletes are scored based on their performance in each discipline. Climbing, as a competitive and recreational activity, has undergone a remarkable transformation over the past century, evolving from an outdoor adventure pursuit to a formalized, structured sport recognized on the global stage. The discipline of climbing has ancient roots in humanity's instinctual drive to ascend natural surfaces for exploration, survival, and eventually, recreation. As interest grew and technology improved, the activity began to shape itself into various specialized forms, each developing distinct techniques, philosophies, and competitive frameworks. The sport of climbing eventually made its way into indoor environments, allowing for year-round training and competition, and eventually caught the attention of international sporting organizations. Over time, climbing matured into an organized global sport, with established rules, federations, and a passionate community advocating for its recognition in the world's most prestigious sporting events. The formalization of climbing as a sport required the development of clear rules and competitive structures, differentiating it from recreational or expedition-style climbing. Modern sport climbing is typically divided into three main disciplines: lead climbing, bouldering, and speed climbing. Each discipline demands unique physical and mental attributes, and competitive climbers often specialize in one or more of these categories. Lead climbing challenges athletes to ascend a high wall within a limited time, clipping into safety points as they progress. Bouldering, on the other hand, involves short, intense problems on lower walls without ropes, emphasizing strength, strategy, and problem-solving. Speed climbing, as its name suggests, pits climbers against the clock on an identical wall, racing to the top with explosive power and coordination. These distinct forms were standardized through the establishment of international rules and judging criteria, enabling fair and consistent competition across the globe. Championships dedicated to climbing have played a vital role in the sport's growth and visibility. Among the most significant are the International Federation of Sport Climbing, IFSC, World Championships, which bring together elite climbers from all over the world to compete at the highest level. These championships showcase individual brilliance in each discipline and contribute to the refinement of climbing techniques and the progression of route setting. Additionally, continental championships and World Cup events held annually allow climbers to gain rankings and qualify for more prestigious competitions. These events, supported by national climbing federations and local organizers, foster a deep sense of community, sportsmanship, and international collaboration. They have also contributed to the professionalization of the sport, with athletes gaining sponsorships and public recognition. The road to Olympic inclusion was long and filled with advocacy, innovation, and adaptation. For decades, the climbing community sought greater recognition, pushing for the sport to be featured in multi-sport events. The breakthrough came when the International Olympic Committee, IOC, announced climbing's inclusion in the Tokyo 2020 Summer Olympics, marking a historic moment for the discipline. The debut featured a combined format that included lead climbing, bouldering, and speed climbing in a single event, challenging athletes to display versatility across all disciplines. Although the format was initially met with mixed reactions, it served as a valuable platform to introduce climbing to a broader global audience. The Olympic debut elevated the profile of climbing, leading to further investments in infrastructure, youth development programs, and media coverage. The sport's presence at the Olympics is set to evolve, with future editions exploring revised formats to better reflect the nuances of each discipline. Certain countries have emerged as powerhouses in competitive climbing, consistently producing top-tier athletes and setting global standards. Nations such as Japan, France, Austria, the United States, and Slovenia have demonstrated exceptional prowess across various climbing disciplines. These countries have invested heavily in training facilities, coaching programs, and youth development, cultivating a pipeline of talent that continually pushes the sport forward. Their athletes are celebrated for their technical brilliance, strategic intelligence, and resilience under pressure. National climbing federations in these countries have also played a pivotal role in the global governance of the sport, contributing to policy decisions, event organization, and innovation in route design and competition formats. Moreover, the popularity of climbing in these nations has spurred widespread participation at grassroots levels, ensuring a strong foundation for the sport's future. As climbing continues to grow and mature, its presence on the Olympic stage represents both a culmination of decades of dedication and a new beginning filled with promise. The sport's blend of athleticism, artistry, and mental fortitude offers a unique spectacle that captivates audiences and inspires new generations. Its inclusion in the Olympics has helped legitimize the efforts of countless athletes, coaches, and supporters who have worked tirelessly to elevate the discipline. As more countries embrace climbing and contribute to its development, the global climbing community stands on the brink of even greater achievements, unified by a shared passion for ascent and the pursuit of excellence. Serato Anriku is a prominent Japanese sport climber who has made significant strides in the world of competitive climbing. Born and raised in Japan, Anriku discovered his passion for climbing at a young age and dedicated himself to honing his skills. His commitment and hard work paid off as he quickly rose through the ranks to become a top contender in the sport. Serato Anriku has swiftly emerged as one of the most dominant and celebrated figures in the world of sport climbing, captivating audiences with his unmatched technical skill, strategic brilliance, and youthful determination. At a time when the global competition in climbing has never been fiercer, Anriku has stood out not merely for his victories but for the maturity and consistency with which he approaches every route and problem. Born in Japan, a country that has long been a powerhouse in competitive climbing, Anriku represents a new generation of climbers who were raised with access to top-tier facilities, expert coaching, and a culture that embraces the athletic and mental demands of the sport. His rise to the top of the international rankings has been nothing short of meteoric, and his performances have made him a role model for aspiring athletes worldwide. From an early age, Anriku displayed a natural affinity for movement and an intense focus that belied his age. He began climbing in his early childhood years, training in some of Japan's most respected climbing gyms. Under the guidance of experienced coaches, Anriku was quickly recognized for his adaptability, his ability to read routes with extraordinary precision, and his remarkable composure under pressure. These qualities would soon define his approach to competition climbing and set him apart from his peers. His entry into the international climbing scene came through youth competitions, where he consistently outperformed expectations, claiming top finishes and drawing attention from media, coaches, and fellow climbers around the world. Anriku's official breakthrough onto the senior competition stage came in the 2023 IFSC Climbing World Cup season, when he not only competed but dominated in both the boulder and lead disciplines, something few climbers in history have managed to do in a single season. That year, he claimed the overall boulder title, the overall lead title, and became the first male climber in history to win both overall World Cup titles in the same year, a feat previously only achieved by the legendary Janja Garnbret in the women's field. His performances were marked by flawless technique, perfect pacing, and an ability to make the most difficult moves seem effortless. The climbing community was stunned, not just by the fact that he was winning, but by the manner in which he was climbing, elegant, controlled, and precise. Anriku's success in 2023 positioned him as a favorite for the Paris 2024 Olympic Games, where sport climbing was featured in its second Olympic appearance. At just 17 years old, Anriku competed in the newly restructured Olympic format, which separated speed from the combined boulder and lead event. He brought home a silver medal, finishing just behind Alberto Guinness Lopez of Spain in a tightly contested final. His Olympic performance, while not gold, was celebrated as a monumental achievement given his age and the level of pressure. The Tokyo and Paris Olympics had elevated the visibility of sport climbing to new heights, and Anriku found himself at the center of this growing global spotlight. By the time the 2025 season arrived, Anriku had transformed from a breakout star into the undisputed leader in men's climbing. In the first 3 Boulder World Cup events of 2025, he claimed 3 consecutive gold medals, establishing himself as the dominant force of the season. His consistency, versatility, and mental clarity made him almost untouchable in competitions. With each new route, Anriku displayed not only physical prowess but also a deep strategic mind. He could decode beta, climbing strategy, faster than almost anyone on the circuit and execute sequences with an efficiency that minimized energy expenditure. He was no longer just a talented young climber, he had become the climber to beat. In the 2025 IFSC overall rankings, Anriku soared to the top with 5,300 points, the highest for any male climber in the season across all disciplines. His performances in both boulder and lead ensured that he retained a stronghold on the international scene. Analysts and climbing fans began comparing his rise to that of legendary climbers like Adam Ondra and Tomoe Narasaki, noting that Anriku's trajectory was even steeper. He had become the new face of climbing in Japan, and one of the sport's most globally recognized athletes. American sport climber Samuel Watson, hailing from Denver, Colorado, has made a name for himself in the competitive climbing scene. With a strong work ethic and dedication, Watson has secured multiple national championships and international podium finishes. Known for his technical precision and mental toughness, he continues to impress with his skill and determination. Samuel Watson has become one of the most electrifying figures in the sport climbing world, not only as the United States' fastest male climber but as a global standard-bearer in the highly specialized and rapidly evolving discipline of speed climbing. At a time when the sport has seen unprecedented international attention thanks to its inclusion in the Olympic Games and the rise of young prodigies around the globe, Watson has etched his name into history by becoming the fastest man ever recorded on the speed wall. But his story is not just about a single record or a few medals, it's a tale of dedication, explosive talent, and the relentless pursuit of perfection. Samuel Watson was born and raised in the United States, a country known more for its contributions to traditional and outdoor climbing than for its dominance in the World Cup speed climbing circuit, which has historically been led by nations such as Indonesia, China, and Russia. Watson began climbing at a young age, originally training in gyms focused on general climbing disciplines including bouldering and lead. But it wasn't long before coaches and competitors noticed that he possessed an uncanny gift for acceleration, explosive movement, and body coordination, all traits essential for speed climbing. Watson's decision to specialize in speed climbing was a pivotal moment. While many young climbers pursued all-around excellence across disciplines, Watson leaned into his natural strengths, fast twitch muscle power, hyper-focused reaction time, and the ability to stay composed under intense pressure. He began competing in local and national events as a teenager, quickly climbing the ranks and outperforming older, more experienced competitors. By the age of 17, he was already representing the United States in international competitions and breaking youth records. Samuel Watson's rise to global recognition accelerated with his performances in the IFSC Speed Climbing World Cup circuits. He became known not just as a medal contender, but as a serious threat to break the elusive 5-second barrier, which only a handful of climbers had achieved in competition. In a sport where fractions of a second separate the winner from the rest of the field, Watson demonstrated a level of consistency and fearlessness that made him stand out. His breakthrough came during the 2023 and 2024 IFSC seasons, where he routinely finished in the top rankings and medaled in key World Cup events. These seasons were significant as they featured a deep field of elite speed climbers from around the world, including Indonesia's Vedrik Leonardo and Kirimal Katibin, China's Long Jinbao, and other rising stars. Despite the intense global competition, Watson continued to sharpen his skills, focusing on reaction drills, foot placement precision, and maximizing his stride efficiency on the 15-meter standardized speed wall. The 2024 Olympic Games in Paris marked a defining moment in Watson's career. For the first time, the Olympics featured speed climbing as a standalone medal event, separate from the combined boulder and lead competition. This format change allowed pure speed specialists like Watson to showcase their abilities without being penalized for lack of performance in other disciplines. Watson entered the Paris Games with high expectations. His training had reached new levels of intensity, and his mental preparation was laser-sharp. In the qualifying rounds, he posted one of the fastest times of the event, drawing attention from global media and sparking comparisons to legends of the sport. Though he narrowly missed out on a medal, finishing 4th overall, his performance on the Olympic stage firmly established him as one of the top speed climbers in the world, and his story was far from over. 2025 would be the year that changed everything. During the IFSC World Cup event in Bali, Watson lined up for yet another speed final. The field was filled with elite competitors, and the atmosphere was electric. Then, in a moment that stunned the climbing world, Watson shattered the world record, completing the 15-meter route in an astonishing 4.648 seconds, the fastest officially recorded time in the history of the sport. This performance not only made headlines worldwide but also redefined the physical limits of what was believed possible on the speed wall. French sport climber Mejdi Schock is a prominent figure in the climbing world, known for his impressive achievements and championships. With a passion for climbing from a young age, Mejdi has excelled in the sport through dedication and talent. He has competed in national and international events, winning titles like the French National Climbing Championships and the International Climbing World Cup. In the electrifying world of competition climbing, where agility, strength, strategy, and mental resilience meet on the wall, few names have captured the imagination of fans like Mejdi Schock. As one of France's most dynamic and decorated athletes in the discipline of sport climbing, Schock has become a symbol of innovation, fluidity, and competitive brilliance. His career, though still young, has already reshaped the expectations for male climbers on the IFSC World Cup circuit, and his performances have elevated France's reputation as a powerhouse in the sport. What sets Mejdi Schock apart is not just his growing list of medals and achievements, but his unmistakable style, bold, creative, confident, and athletic. He climbs with a distinctive blend of power and artistry, approaching every problem like a canvas to be interpreted rather than simply solved. From the streets of France to the global stage, Schock's rise in the world of climbing has been rapid, breathtaking, and nothing short of extraordinary. Born in 2004 in France, Mejdi Schock grew up in an environment that nurtured physical activity, exploration, and competition. He discovered climbing at a young age, quickly becoming enchanted by its unique challenge, a sport that demands not only physical prowess, but also mental acuity and emotional control. France has a deep-rooted climbing culture, with world-class facilities, experienced coaches, and a community of elite climbers. Schock found himself surrounded by mentors and peers who recognized his potential early on. As a youth climber, Schock stood out for his intuitive movement, impressive core strength, and problem-solving intelligence. He made his mark in European Youth Cups, demonstrating not only a high technical ceiling but also the composure necessary for elite-level competition. His coaches noted his fearless attitude, willingness to push the envelope on unfamiliar moves, and his creative interpretation of routes. These qualities would soon define his approach to competition climbing. Mehdi Shak transitioned to senior-level competitions with a bang. His breakout season came in 2022, when he made headlines by winning gold at just 18 years old in the IFSC Boulder World Cup in Salt Lake City. His performance shocked the climbing world, not because he was unknown, but because of the ease and flair with which he outperformed older, more experienced competitors. From that point forward, Shak became a regular presence on the IFSC podiums. In the 2022 and 2023 seasons, he was consistently in the finals in both boulder and lead events, racking up medals and establishing himself as one of the strongest climbers of his generation. What separated Shak was not only his results but his versatility. He could compete at the highest level in both disciplines, something exceedingly rare among male climbers. By the time 2024 arrived, Mehdi Shak had already amassed a reputation as one of the most exciting climbers in the world. That year would prove to be one of his most successful and most scrutinized, as he entered the 2024 Paris Olympic Games, held on home soil, as one of France's premier medal hopes. The format of the climbing events in Paris had evolved since its debut in Tokyo 2020. Speed climbing was separated into its own event, while boulder and lead were combined into a single medal discipline, a change that benefited climbers like Shak who excelled at both. Japanese sport climber Sota Amagasa has made a significant impact in the world of climbing with his remarkable achievements and dedication to the sport. Born in Japan, Amagasa began climbing at a young age and quickly developed a passion for the sport. His natural talent and relentless work ethic propelled him to success on both national and international levels. Sota Amagasa is a Japanese sport climbing athlete who has risen to prominence in the international climbing scene through his exceptional performances in bouldering and lead disciplines, demonstrating a unique combination of technical precision, physical strength, and mental resilience that has distinguished him among his peers from an early age. Sota began climbing in Japan, where the sport has seen rapid growth and popularity, especially among youth competitors. His dedication to the sport became evident through his early participation in national youth competitions, where he consistently achieved top placements, which eventually led him to international stages as part of Japan's new wave of elite climbers. Sota Amagasa's career began gaining serious attention during his transition from youth competitions to senior-level events, as he participated in IFSC World Cups and international climbing events across Europe and Asia, showcasing his ability to remain composed under pressure and execute complex sequences on highly challenging routes. His climbing style is characterized by his powerful yet calculated movements, his fluid transitions, and his ability to read problems quickly and adapt his approach in real time, which is a critical skill in both bouldering and lead events. Over the years, Sota has developed a reputation for his quiet focus and strong finishes, often earning podium placements against some of the toughest competition in the world. Sota Amagasa's rise through the ranks has been marked by his steady accumulation of World Cup points through multiple seasons, particularly in the bouldering circuit, where his consistency and top finishes have placed him among the highest-ranked male climbers globally. He has earned medals in multiple IFSC World Cups, including top 3 finishes that have made him a core member of the Japanese national team. His presence has contributed to Japan's dominance in the sport in recent years, often finishing alongside his countrymen in team-dominated podiums. His contributions are not only personal but also reflect Japan's deep investment in the development of young climbers. Sota has also participated in world championships and other elite-level competitions where he has represented Japan with distinction, helping the team secure important standings in both individual and combined formats. His ability to perform across disciplines also positions him as a potential Olympic contender, especially in the new combined boulder and lead format introduced for Paris and continued into Los Angeles. Sota's approach to training and competition reflects the rigorous standards of Japanese climbing programs, which focus heavily on coordination, flexibility, and the psychological demands of competition. Sota Amagasa represents the archetype of consistent progression in sport climbing. From youth champion to senior World Cup medalist, his path demonstrates the value of patience, technical development, and mental grit. In 2025, at the peak of his consistency, he confirmed his place among the world's elite boulderers with podium finishes and overall ranking. As Team Japan continues to lead the men's boulder World Cup circuit, Amagasa remains a central figure, bright, reliable, and ever-improving. With his first World Cup gold behind him and a top-3 overall season now accomplished, the world awaits the next chapter in his ascent: continued podiums, championship titles, and perhaps even Olympic glory in future seasons. Sota Amagasa represents the archetype of consistent progression in sport climbing. From youth champion to senior World Cup medalist, his path demonstrates the value of patience, technical development, and mental grit. In 2025, at the peak of his consistency, he confirmed his place among the world's elite boulderers with podium finishes and overall ranking. Thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of our program, Games and Names. We appreciate your continued support and viewership. As we bring this episode to a close, we want to express our gratitude for allowing us into your homes and hearts. We hope that you have enjoyed the games, the laughter, and the camaraderie shared during this episode. Our goal is to provide you with quality entertainment that brings joy and positivity into your lives.